10 handicap, looking to elongate the swing without sacrificing consistency of contact. Tough task, but we've got both swings and a tour comparison coming, so we'll cover this in as much detail as we can. Let's zip back to your setup from the down the line view to see that your knee flex is okay, but you need to push the butt out a little bit more to give you more space and allow your body to rotate a bit easier. Grip is a bit in the palm of your left hand, so that is giving you that fake strong grip, which can have club face control issues. Let's get our path line up and watch the takeaway, as the first move does ride right up that path line, but there's a lot of forearm rotation and rolling open of that club face to get that toe pointed straight up to the sky. That's about 15 to 20 degrees open of what you'd like to see, and that usually will lead to either a looping at the top or a flipping of that club face back down at the ball. Now your transition doesn't look like it loops too much, it's right back down on a zero plane, and there is your left wrist rolling that club face back down and closing it through strike. You've also mentioned in the notes that you're recently pulling the ball with a history of fading, and that makes sense for a slightly over the top path with some variability in that club face based on what you're doing with those hands, based on what you're doing with the club face and the backswing. So it really does all tie back to your grip and that first move takeaway. So the tour comp, we'll get to that in a minute, but let's play it through one more time. Your lateral move with the lower body doesn't really get you as far forward enough as you should be, so you might be hitting some ground contact behind the ball. That right heel will lift up rather than give you much lateral push toward target before you lift up off that heel and then finish through. But overall, I think that more of your lesson would be steered toward the face-on view here, where we again can see that grip extending the shaft would be right through the palm of your left hand. So get both of your knuckles, or just feeling as if you're rotating that left hand a bit more over the top. Right hand looks okay, I would not make too much of an adjustment there. Your knee flex is slightly bowed out. If I'm to exaggerate these angles here, when your knees are bowed out like that, it's again difficult to turn and rotate the hips to the best of your ability. So widening the stance would make that easier, and give yourself the chance to flare both toes a little bit more. That again can help both rotational directions, backswing and downswing. I don't think you want to do a whole lot more in your backswing, although you can reduce a little bit of that sway by increasing your turn and getting your weight shift to pivot more into your left foot to the top. Rather involved move, but you do get a little bit of a shift forward, hips stay square, they don't open up enough. You are doing a lot with your hands and wrists to save this shot. That bowing of the left wrist is doing all of the club face closing, and probably a major reason why you've turned these shots into pulls. The angle that you're providing right there isn't bad, but if you work on your grip and work on that club face through the backswing, you'll be able to get that wrist to look like this, and instead of having the shaft already released through and scoop it, you can still have that shaft leaning into impact, and that's a much better looking impact position if you can hold your angles through to this point. So I will bring up our tour comp here and go over the face-on view comparison. Let's back you up to setup here. Face-on view angle is slightly off, but what we're going to look for out of Adam Scott's swing over here is a similar line on the lead hip, and watching the hands and club in the takeaway, as there's a little allowance for shift and sway, but the hands have reached quite a few inches away from the body and the right arm has remained mostly extended. As you draw that club back, we're going to see the right elbow begin to tuck into the side of your body early, and that can really get you stuck to a tight, short backswing. Getting more width and reach of those hands away from your body can help you turn better and pivot more on your front side so that you're not pivoting back and really just tucking in that elbow early, ready to throw and extend it away. So longer reach in the backswing, getting the club up to the top, and a more narrow downswing is often what you see out of a lot of shot tracers of the clubs with the pros at impact. So again, you can get your lower body in this position, you can get your wrists in this position, but you have to get your face to remain more closed so that you can get your lag to look like that at impact, and then release through with those forearms, because that releasing period for you is right about here. The release for the pros will be out here in the P7 to follow through position. So good luck with those changes. Please feel free to follow up with any emails. Good luck. Sendaswing.com.